Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy iTrade Tuesdays. Got my trading buddy Brian here with me. We're taking a look at some US 30. If you were paying attention to the news, there was some news that came out here about half an hour ago. Caused a spike, as I call it, or market manipulation, depending on how you caught that spike. If you thought there were sellers in the market, you could be in some serious drawdown right now. This depends on how quick you got in and out. Price right now, at least on the 1 minute, is trying to push up to a zone. So we're going to jump in and take a look at that and jump off. If you've been following me at all, or Brian or any of the other guys that trade, and you're thinking about, man, I need to learn how to trade, I'm going to throw this out at you, and I want you to really grasp onto what I'm saying. Unless you're like a stupid, super freaking genius, you're not going to learn how to trade in 15 minutes. It takes time. I've practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced for 2 years. I used a demo account probably for 14 or 15 months of demo accounts and practice and practice and practice. And a lot of times the practice included me pushing buttons to see what happens. That's how I learn anything. If I don't push a button to see what happens, I'm not going to learn anything. The strongest thing, or the biggest thing that I learned, was not just the practice, but I enrolled into an education platform that has educators. It was a formal education platform that has educators, professional educators. Good morning, Heath. Has professional educators. They have about 35 hours of live training a week. They have roughly just hundreds of hours of recorded training. There's an awesome community. So I would recommend, and then I spent 3 to 5 hours a week learning how to trade. So if that's you, if you want to change your financial future, and as my buddy Aaron says, create a money tree in your backyard, you got to learn how to trade. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that learned how to trade, and I learned it, and I'm taking advantage of what I learned, but I still practice every day. Matter of fact, both these guys on here can attribute to that I say, set up something, practice, see what happens, take notes, and do it on a demo account. If you're doing a live account, you better have a big, fat, stupid, ridiculous bank account, because you could lose a lot of money. So you've got to practice with a demo account. If you're not willing to practice with a demo account, you have a big ego, thinks that you're going to learn better with a live account. I've got some guys that have done that. They said, well, I'm just going to put my money in. And they lost every single day. They got mad and quit because it didn't work. Yeah, well, it works just fine if you practice. So I'm going to get off my rant and just say, if you want to learn how to trade, shoot me a private message. I'll get you the link to enroll in classes. Once you get enrolled in classes and you get through some of the basic stuff and get some experience under your belt, then you can come and hang out with me and Brian and Heath and a couple other guys that are a little bit more experienced. And we'll get you maybe invited over to our little private club. We'll talk about that. But if that's something you want to do, just reach out to me and we'll talk about it. But it's worth spending 2 years of going to class consistently and making a commitment to going to class consistently, and making a commitment to going to class consistently to learn this craft, and practicing and practicing and practicing, because you can go to college for 4 years. Nothing wrong with college. Whatever you do, you're not just going to show up to one day of college class and be a heart surgeon the next day. Nothing. You're not going to show up to one day of martial arts class and be a black belt the next day. It takes lots of practice. And I'll close with this martial arts analogy. When you do get into martial arts and you study the craft at all, right? You study the art at all, you'll be able to watch fighters. You'll see them, they'll telegraph, right? They've all got some type of telegraph. They'll turn a foot, they'll turn a hip, they'll drop a shoulder, they'll do something. And sometimes it's just a little bitty, just a slight move. But if you've been watching them long enough, you'll be able to counter that. Sometimes it's instinctive, right? It's instinctive when you've been practicing martial arts. You'll see somebody do something subconsciously, be able to move. That's the same thing with trading, right? With trading, you'll see something happen because you've been practicing subconsciously. You know where you have a really good idea on where things are going to go, and you can set yourself or position yourself to take advantage of that money move. So done with my rant. Coming back to trading, I'm going to jump over. I'm going to pull up a chart. We're going to talk about this for a little bit. I'm not going to be on here all day this morning. Probably roll right up through just about 8:30. If you'd like to come in and hang out with us, feel free for sure. So I'm going to do that. I'm pretty sure my wife's probably going to be calling me here any second now if the phone rings. All right. And here we go. All right, screen share. I really like this. What am I doing? Here we go. I better not brag on it, because the second I brag on something, we have a technological challenge. So I'm just going to leave it right there. I like StreamYard. I'm just going to leave it right there. Let me close this up here. So I'm on the 1 minute chart. I rolled all the way out to the daily a little bit earlier to see the overall trend of the market. That's what you need to do, is you start with your daily and you sort of work your way back through the day. Again, we're on the 1 minute. We scalp on US 30. Why? Because we can. It moves real fast, and you don't really have to sit in front of your charts all day to make money. You can find a time recommended sometime in the US 30, probably somewhere between about 8:15 a.m. Central and 9:15 in the morning. You can make some pretty decent money. I know, I think Brian or Heath or one of these guys was up here about 7:30 a.m. this morning, and they caught some of that move at the 7:30 manipulation right here. Again, you can get caught wanting. You can see this huge spike, right? That came all the way down here. This pushed, and sellers came all the way down here. So if you entered this move as it was coming this way and got out before it turned back, you're good. However, if you enter this move, you could be in a little bit of a drawdown, because you see it came up here, it came back down, and you might have made some of that up in this candle move right here, right? And you close. I always say close with profit. When you got money, just close it and leave, because again, it came back in and did some manipulation, had a little bit of a run up this way, which has been a nice little money move if you open a trade here. And again, we're back into some smaller candles, right? There's a lot of manipulation going on. If you're in your MT4 right now and you're actually looking at it as a trade, it's bouncing all over the place, right? Let me open up my chart here. Come on, phone, up, cooperate with me. And it's moving all over. My MT4 just looks like this, right? It's pretty nuts in terms of trading. And really good news for those of you that have Apple phones, right? For me, Apple decided to let MetaTrader back onto its platform. I don't know what that was about. Some type of, I don't know what that was all about. It was weird, some type of politics or something in the big tech companies and how they run the world. I truly think that Google, Apple, I was going to say Twitter, but you got Elon Musk running that clown show over there, pretty much run the world, right? And they pretty much tell people what to do. When talking about big tech companies and big pharmaceutical companies, getting a little bit of politics. That's what makes this news jump, right? Anytime one of those big companies does something, or something comes out in the market, or something happens crazy with the banks, right? I think a Facebook Live yesterday talking about the banks. Everybody's freaking out about the banks. Did you know that in 2014, 18 banks closed? In 2014, does anybody remember 2014? Please raise your hand and say, I have a clue what happened 9 years ago. I don't. 2014, I think I was working at Mercedes-Benz, maybe selling cars. Don't remember anything in the market. Car sales were pretty good back then, but I don't remember any news about banks closing. 18 of them closed in 2014. I actually talked about that on my live yesterday. You can go to FDIC and look at bank closures, and it'll give you a whole list. Like in 2020, there was 4 banks that closed, and I went through the whole list. There's several years, there was over 9 banks closed, right? So this whole bank closure thing, everybody's putting, world's coming to an apocalyptic end. It may, and hopefully Jesus will be right behind it, because I'm ready to go, right? To get rid of craziness. So if you haven't positioned yourself to be prepared when Jesus comes back, you definitely probably want to really seriously consider that and move in that direction. So I'm all over the place this morning, but a lot of times everything we do in trading has something to do with an outside influence. And a lot of it, 90% of it's mindset, right? It really is mindset, and sitting and studying and just watching the chart. Sometimes when you're scalping, 1 minute seems like forever. Am I right, Brian? Am I right, Heath? Sometimes just watching a 1 minute candle feels like 3 days. And it's all mindset of trying not to get into the market too soon. We're still even though it looks like it's trending on the 1 minute into a buyer's market here. You can see I've got a lot of sellers in the market looking at my MACD. So these are things that you learn I've got my EMAs, prices above my EMAs. If I turn on my cloud, now this is where it gets really fun, right? I turn on my cloud. See, my cloud got some just craziness down here, right? In my cloud, basically the way the cloud works is it runs about 26 periods ahead and 26 periods behind. So there's my wife. Give me 1 second. Yes, baby. All right. Have a good morning. Love you. Bye. Heath, I don't know if that's what happened this morning at 7:30. If it was bailout loans or what, I have no idea. Oh, you're talking about in 2014? I don't remember. I'd have to go back and do some history for the. And maybe it was like the bailout loans for Chrysler, and I have no idea. I don't remember 2014, but here, 9 years later, we're still here, right? It's not like I can't think of that time period really impacting me personally where, anything bad happened to me personally. Now, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen to somebody somewhere that they got financially rolled under the bus, but we need to be financially responsible and position ourselves so when crap does hit the fan, we are not we're not left wanting and not left just hanging, right? In the trails of what the big banks do. So looking at this, going back and looking at this, let me blow this up just a little bit for those of you that are actually watching and paying attention to me. If you're a professional trader and you see something I can do better or you have an insight, feel free to comment. You won't hurt my feelings, right? I don't have such a big ego that I'm going to argue with somebody. I'm always open to doing things better. And of course, helping the people that hang out with me do things easier. But I love easy buttons. Boy, if there's an easy button, I'm pushing it all day long. I'm pushing easy buttons. Love easy buttons, right? So if I can do something easier, less complicated, I've learned that sometimes too many indicators will mess up your soup, right? Sometimes put too much stuff in the soup, it doesn't taste good, right? And that's the same thing with too many indicators. I don't use the cloud all the time. A lot of times I'll just look at it to get a general idea on what price is going to do. You can see it's lagging span. Typically in a trade like this, right? This tells me, even though I've got sellers trying to jump in the market, this still tells me because I have my lagging span above price. I've still got a huge green cloud out here. Although some sellers are trying to jump in. I got me a little dragonfly doji candle that popped up here. Popped into the mix. I've got my EMA down here. Price is going to push. Now, if price pushes through my cloud and my lagging span pushes through my cloud, there's probably going to be a good chance that price is going to run down this way. Now, I'm also above my P for my Fibonacci pivot, which everything tells me here, even though I've got some sellers coming in the market, I'm still in a buyer's position. So there's some contradiction going on in this move. Now, if you're trading on the 1 second candles and you're doing that and you've got some type of algorithmic super fingers and you can open and close a trade that fast, my phone doesn't move that fast. As a matter of fact, I hit close sometimes and I'll see a $250 trade. And by the time I hit the close button and it actually pops in, it's, 195. I'll take it, right? I'm not going to be mad at that. By missing out on $45 or whatever, I'm not going to be in the world. So that's okay. Whether you set your daily goal where you want to end up at the end of the day. My daily goal is $1,000 a day. Right now, I'm working with these guys in a private class, and we're doing some stuff on demo accounts just to get used to practice. You can talk to any professional traders. They open up something new and they're going to practice something new. They practice. Sometimes practice wears off the rust. Sometimes you just have to go back to the basics. So anyway, talking about the cloud, just a lot of consolidation going on here. Here's my R1 up in this zone. I've got this orange line. And what I do with orange lines on my chart is that I look for zones. I look for price comes up. Some people put some type of big funky deal on. I just put an orange line. That's me, right? And I put this orange line up here because it's a zone that price seems to sort of come up and hang out in and then do something with, right? It might come up this way and then come back to this. And it's been sort of hanging out in this zone. I could probably go way back in the past and find out what's going on in that zone. That's roughly a 32 100 zone, 32 150 zone. Somebody could go back and look and see what candle or what pricing, what happened in the market to cause stuff to come up. But that's why I put my orange lines on there, just to give me an idea, regardless of where the Fibonacci's are. So let's talk about a little bit of Fibonacci trading, how I use the Fibonacci pivots specifically in trading. And this is something that I just figured out from practice. So you'll notice I have my P zone here, right? I've got my P in this. And then if I go down, I've got my S1 way down here. And I call it setting traps. I made it up. It's my deal. It's just my brain making sense of this, right? I don't fish, but I use a lot of fishing analogies. Maybe someday I should go fishing. I don't know. I don't even know. I watched this guy fish on Instagram. Dude is bad to the bone. He catches like 5 or 6 fish at one time. The dude is just nuts out in his boat. The boat's driving itself, and he's fishing and pulling them in. And then he'll catch a fish and then goes and shows you how to cook it and stuff. Dude is pretty bad. He's pretty cool. That might be fun. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm in here between I'm above my P, and here's my R1. Typically, if I'm trading and scalping, I'm just going to scalp in this zone. Now, depending on how much room I have between those two, right, between this one and this one, I'm going to go out and set what I call a buy stop or sell stop. For example, this is my P here. Let me come down just a little bit so I get a little bit more of it on the screen. There we go. So you can see I have my P here, and I have my S1 in this zone. What I would do, and just ignore this green line here. I've got that set for something else I'm working on. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to set myself a short position. Typically, I'm going to come down about 1/3 of the way from the P. But you see where I have this tail where price came way down here. Price may meet it to this point. Somebody just popped on. So I'm going to set my entry right there. Good morning, Sean. I'm going to set my entry right there. What I'm going to do. And then since I have my S1 down here, I'm going to come up just about 1/3 of the way from that. I'm going to pull this down. Now, when I'm trading, when you're trading US 30, there's a lot of money right here, right? You don't need to have a huge, unless you've got a big pot, unless you've got like $100,000 and you want to do that. All I've got to do is just change my lot size. When price runs through this zone right here, running down to my S1, it's going to come down here, and it's going to do, it might come down. What I want it to do is it's going to come and hang out at the P, and I'm going to watch all of this stuff. And there's a whole lot of other things going on that I'm looking for as well, but I'm going to set my bait. This is what I call setting my trap. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set this trap as a stop order, right? A sell stop order. I'm going to set that in, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set my lot size depending on what lot I need to be at, right? So I'm going to set my lot size, right? If you set your lot size too large compared to what you have in your balance, sometimes the trade won't activate. So I'm going to come into this. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to set a sell stop order. Right. And if you're watching this live again, you trade at your own risk. If you do this, if you take this trade and you lose money, it's on you. You've got to know how to trade, right? 31,676. And of course, you need to set in a stop loss. And here's how, and I had this conversation with one of my guys. When you set your stop loss, right, your stop loss, I set my stop loss based on how much money I want to lose in relationship to my total balance of my account, right? So if price does happen to come down and do this and bounce in this, if this is $100, I'm okay with losing that. If I know for sure, now this is me, right? This is me trading this. This is my unprofessional advice. If I know for sure everything in the world is telling me the price is coming from here and it's running this way, I'm going to back my stop loss off and just move it out of the way just in case it does a crazy spike and comes back this way. I don't want it to close a trade. I typically pay attention to these, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alert right in this zone right here. I'm going to hit an alert, and I'm going to set US 30. US 30, 1 minute sell entry. right? That way I'm going to get an alert on my phone because I have TradingView on my phone. It's going to alert me. I've got my stop loss set. I'm going to go ahead and hit place on this bad boy. So I don't have to think about this a lot. This is a trap. This is like fishing. So if for some reason I walk away today and price does something crazy and comes down through here, enters this trade, it's going to pass my alert. My phone's going to go boom. I'm going to get the alert. I can check my chart on my phone to see where price is going. Depending on if I've made my goal or not for the day for my money goal, my income goal, I may, if it just goes to blue or goes in what we call the money zone, I may just close the trade and not let it go all the way to take profit. Just depends on where I'm at, but I've got this trap set in case this is going to go this way. Remember, my overall trend is a selling trend in overall. When I go back to my daily, it's an overall selling trend. So that's set out there. I'm also going to come and put a note on this so I remember what I did, right? Set, sell, stop order. And it really doesn't matter the exact time. I just put the time on there so I know. But I do put the date, right? 3/14/23. Set that. Put myself a little note on there. So when I come back, if it does hit, I can watch the price and go, okay, I set that in the morning when I was talking to these guys on the live. It might not do, it might do this later this afternoon and just blow through this. And I'll make a little bit of money and I'll take it all day long. I can do the same thing, right? Coming in the other direction. Now I've got my P, I've got my R1 in this zone. I've got my what I call my zone, my resistance zone here in this area. For some reason, comes here. Fibonacci just showing it's up here. But again, I've got another fishing zone here, but I've got a huge zone up here between my R2 and my R3, right? So I can also set a buy order up in this and a buy stop order up in this area. And I know typically I'm very conservative in this area. If price does run all the way up here, a lot of times it'll come up and do something like this. If it breaks through my zone, my R3, I don't do anything in this area. I'm just going to wait for the end of the day, but it probably won't happen in that direction. So learn how to trade, right? It's your money. It's your risk. You've got to find a strategy that's going to work for you. Very, very important that you do that. Some days, like today, it's Tuesday. We've got a ton of news that's going to hit later today, right? We've got a lot of red folders. It's typically, it looked like it was all at 7:30, right? So I'm not sure if there's anything else going to happen today. I know there's a ton of red folders that are going to happen from you. Curious what I'm talking about, red folders. This is Forex Factory. You can come in here, open up an account. And typically they say anywhere you see a red folder means something, it's going to be big news related. This was this morning at 7:30. You can see this is what happened at 7:30. It wasn't as big as news as we thought, but if you're a bank and you're trading billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, that was a lot of money right there, right? If you're small time like us and, we're looking just to make, $500 to $1,000 in a day, then there was some money in this as well. If you have your lot size set up, you're all ready to go, your fingers are ready to go, and you're peeled, and you can take those trades all day long. Again, that's totally up to you on how you want to trade your money. Don't ever trade money or risk money that you can't afford to lose, right? If you literally can't walk out to your backyard, take your pile of money, put it in a trash can, light it on fire, then don't trade with it, right? Don't trade your rent money. Don't trade your house money. Don't trade, man, I need $400 by the end of the week or I'm going to get evicted money. Don't do any of that stuff because you're not going to have your $400 by the end of the week and you're still going to get evicted and you're not going to have the money. Just go get a job, sell something, sell some of your power tools, right? Whatever, sell some of your wife's shoes, do something different, get a second job, but don't trade just if you're in emergency mode and you need money. That's not a good mindset to be in when trading. Just learn how to trade, make it fun, and get past the frustrating part and learn how to trade, learn how to trade, learn how to trade, learn how to trade. And I think I've beat that horse to death there. And like I said, going back, some days you're just going to sit and watch. Nothing going on. There's no real news the rest of the day. Now, when 8:30 hits, right? When 8:30 hits, typically in the zone, when 8:30 hits, there's going to be another spike. Now, there was a 7:30 spike. I have a feeling based on past experience, since we had all of this down in here, right? Again, price If we go back this way, price has been trying to work its way up a little bit. Hovering in this zone. This is where I took a trade yesterday. That's why I got that green line there. But as you can see on my MACD, it came up a little bit, came around, it's been hovering, it's coming back. And if we come back all the way back till this morning, I've got price hanging out here with some sellers in the market. We're getting ready to hit the 830. I have a feeling price is going to go here, but I'm still above my EMA, right? I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Get ready on the triggers. I don't think I'm going to be a big fan of entering because I've got my R1 right here of entering a buy that's going to go much past this zone without closing it very, very quickly. So let me get on market execution. So I'm on the right deal there. And when you're doing these on what we call market execution orders, and you're just hitting the buy or the sell stop, you don't have to put a stop loss in these. You're simply hitting the buy in the market or sell by market button on your phone. You're watching the candle, and then you're hitting the close button, going to the next step to hit the close button. If you don't know how to do that, get in the class and learn how to use MT4, or go find a YouTube video that teaches you how to use MT4 or MT5, right? If you're using it on your desktop, same thing. Learn how to use the tools of the craft so you're not just in here wasting money trying to close a trade that ends up putting you in drawdown and taking all your money, right? You've got to know how to operate your tools, operate your software. Very, very important part of learning how to trade as well, that you understand the software. Let me blow this up a little bit more here. So as we're trading, having a little bit of fun. Waiting for that 830 spike that's going to happen here in about 6 minutes. The forest is not 830 where I live. That's absolutely okay. Somebody just fell off. Well, that must be Heath. I think Heath had to go to work. Let me see. Oh, Sean, I just find an EMA. I just find an EMA that I like to use and then just adjust it. There's an EMA. Which one is the one I have on here? It's called an EMA 20, 50, 100, 200, and you can turn these on and off depending on which ones you want to see. And you just go into your chart and set it up to see which ones you want to use on the chart. If I go in here, you see I've got these two, the red and the purple plotted. My purple one is here. My red one is right here in price. And that's how I set that up. So that's the EMA that I use on my EMAs. And this red one runs usually right along with price. And I keep it on here to watch for the cross, right? If this starts to come this way and this EMA crosses and does the turn, right? That means I'm going to be in a strong selling market or strong selling position, I guess I should say. Right now, this is telling me it's buyers, 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 buyers. So I'm just, this is going to be a learning curve here for me. We're going to see what's going to happen in relationship to this candle back here, right? Price is either just going to go this way, or it's going to counter this move. It's going to blow past this zone right here. We'll see. If it blows past this zone, it's going to run up somewhere here and it's going to stall out. Probably right in this zone. The seller's going to come back and it's going to do some crazy stuff like this. We'll see. That's just based on what has happened every day since. So, it's the one that I posted in the WhatsApp chat. Everybody in the world is messaging me about different stuff. All right, let's get back here. See where we're going. 8:30 news is coming up in just under 3 minutes. This is where you got to be ready to move really, really fast. There's going to be some market manipulation. If it does anything at all, you're going to get either a big spike up. I'm typically looking at this. The sellers may jump in the market to try and recoup some of this in this area. Again, we're looking at 1 minute candles, but when we're dealing with banks, you're still talking hundreds of millions of dollars. Even in a little bitty move like this, we're still talking tons and tons of money, especially if we're coming all the way here, all the way to here, right? There's a lot of money in this zone right here. So we've got to look at this and see. Sellers are trying to push in right now. See my MACD here. So if it does come this way, it's probably going to come in about this zone and then stall out. If it blows through that EMA, I'll be surprised. It's still going to come down in this zone and hang out. You still got to be quick on your fingers to be able to enter and exit the market. Let's see here. Get in and grab some trades. Oh, cancel that. US 30. I need some background music, don't we? Yeah, no problem, Sean. Let's see what we got going here. We're getting close. We're getting close. Get your fingers ready. And you got to be quick on this 8:30 move too, because you can get yourself in a bad position by pushing the wrong button at the wrong time. Again, just make sure that you've got money there. On my MetaTrader on my phone, I'm getting just a lot. My everything is really, really close together, and it's going really crazy. So they're getting ready to do their manipulation. I'm not quite sure who's pushing what button for what. I know with the Silicon Valley Bank thing, it's going to crack me up if Elon Musk buys that bank. That's going to just do some crazy, crazy stuff. They said he lost like $200 million or some kind of crazy number, and he's still like the richest guy in the world. Right? Isn't that crazy? That's freaking pretty cool. That is pretty cool, really. All right, what do we got going on here? May not do anything. It is 8:30. And what's my time on that candle? 34 seconds. Who is trying to push past that? It's trying to push. We'll see where this next candle goes. If that's a good seller's candle, that might be a good entry. It might be faking us out a little bit to come back the other direction. If you're ready to open that candle, that's fine. Get ready to close it. I would close it like right now. And then wait for the next candle. 4 seconds. Let's see where this next candle goes. Buyers trying to jump back in, trying to come back here. And 50 seconds, 45 seconds. Let's see where this next candle goes here. I usually have my chart over here right behind my phone. And seller's market, there we go. And it's probably going to push down to that EMA. And you see I've got a big wide mouth on my MACD. Well, they're fighting. They're fighting right now. Okay, that was 142 bucks. Oh, see, my EMA is turning. Buyers are trying to jump back in. Yeah, you gotta be fast. This takes experience and practice. Right? And again, look at my let's see where we're at here. Let me pull that up a little bit. See how my red line down here started to come flat? It means they're trying to close this mouth down here. I got to look up what these two lines are called. Maybe if Aaron ever watches, he can chime in and tell me. I just don't remember. I probably just need to YouTube it. But basically, when these two lines cross, they effectively do the same thing as these two MAs here. But again, it's still saying I've got a lot of sellers in the market, although I've got some big doji candles going on here. But I'm also running close to my EMA, so it's going to come down and hang in this zone. It may just do a little bit of manipulation. We may not see any real big moves till a little bit later in the day, and that's okay. You don't have to make money every day. My favorite trading days, however, are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I actually like to trade on Fridays too. Some traders just don't do. I don't know if it's a thing, but there's always a lot of money made on Fridays towards the end of the day sometimes, depending on what you're looking at. Gold right now is probably going crazy. I know if you're trading Bitcoin, let me see what Bitcoin is doing. Oh yeah, it took right the heck off this morning. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the coins are taking off. If you had any money in the crypto market, probably made some dollars in that market as well. It's pushing. You see I'm below my zero line now. As soon as this buyer's candle pushes below, you can see I've got my EMA up here pushing sellers into the market. Let's see what my cloud looks like really quickly. Yep, see I'm actually in the cloud. My lagging span is below price. So this candle pushes below. Definitely got a lot of good selling going on here. And it's just hanging out. Just always give yourself room enough for counter moves when you open a trade. Like I said, price always here. Price goes below this EMA here. Good entry spot here for a good candle. So it's going to push. When it pushes here, and see where that's going to go. It's trying to come back up to this EMA. It's going to hang out here, and it's going to come back. Should come back this way. We'll see. $31,954. And you see they're just fighting. The candles are fighting. They're going to come back. You're going to have a lot of manipulation. Again, this is a zone that I marked in here. My Fibonacci, my R1 is way up here, right? My P is down in this zone. So depending on if price breaks below this EMA here, we've definitely got a lot of sellers in the market. And this is where it can get fun. This is where you can either lose a lot of money in trading in the morning, or make a lot of money. And if you've got a good cushion, if you're being conservative on your lot sizes, If you're not trying to risk too much. Now, if you've got a big, fat, stupid account balance and you can afford to give yourself some room and some drawdown on a trade, sometimes you just have to wait for it to come back the other direction. That's absolutely okay to be able to do that. Go in the set and modify your trade and then set your take profit to where you want it to hit. So you don't have to sit in front of it and watch it all day. Set your alerts. If you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, get in the class, learn how to trade, right? Get with me and I'll get you the link to get in class and get enrolled to learn how to trade. This is going to be a fun day. You see these two candles here just sort of cancel out each other, right? You had an engulfing candle here, almost an engulfing candle, didn't quite push past here, past this point. So it's just a matter of waiting, right? You're going to see a lot of this little dippy stuff. Some people call that a coffee cup-ish move. It looks, and when it all finishes out, it'll look like a coffee cup with a handle, right? Especially if it does something like this and comes back down this way. It'll be like you have your little coffee cup right here. Then it'll have a handle on the end. We'll see what happens. If that truly breaks that way, that handle may come all the way down this way. We'll see what happens, right? Well, Forrest, where'd you learn that? I'm not going to tell you if you haven't figured it out yet, right? This would have been a good buyer's move if you open a trade here. But again, you've got to watch all the indicators. Sometimes there's too many indicators. Sometimes you can just, I know I've got a couple of experienced traders. They do what they call bare naked trading, right? Basically, they turn off all the indicators and they just use candles to trade with. And I'm like, I haven't even tried to figure that kung fu out yet, right? That's just that's sort of like the drunken monkey martial arts deal, right? I'm gonna stay away. I'm gonna stay away from that. Guess my brain doesn't work that much, especially with all these different types of candles in here. Like, which one do you use on what time frame, right? So fun day. I'm going to probably wrap up here in about 5 minutes. If you're thinking that you want to trade, if you're watching this, you're catching this on, you're over on YouTube, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to trade, my phone number is scrolling right across the bottom of the screen, right there, right? You can see it right there across the bottom of the screen. If you're over on Twitter and you can't see my phone number scrolling across the bottom of the screen, it's 314-498-7688. You've got to text me first. Text me, tell me who you are with your name, ask your question, and then we'll set up a time to chat and get on the phone and get all your trading questions answered, get you enrolled in class so that a couple of years from now, you will be a trading kung fu master as well, as long as you apply yourself and do lots of practice, right? I wish my sensei Penny was here. She was my martial arts instructor. She's a retired Air Force lady. And that's basically what she said too. It's like, if you're going to get in here, you got to practice and show up, right? Practice and show up. And that's pretty much true for anything, any kind of business you're running. You got to practice and show up. You got to practice your phone calls, which we do. I'm enrolled in the Grant Cardone program here. It's going to start here in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And they practice role play, which is very, very cool. That's part of one of our team's deals, as we get in practice role play to improve our sales skills, right? Very, very important that you do that. So anything you do, you need to practice, get very, very good at it, and practice. Well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a wrap and jump off of here. I truly wish each and every one of you that you have an absolutely awesome March. As we mentioned, when you enter and exit your trades and say which direction. Of course, will you mention when you enter and exit trades and say which direction? Not quite sure I understand what you're saying there, Brian, but yeah, you're entering trades and exiting trades, right? It has to be your understanding. For example, this one right here, I entered that trade, right? That was a sell move. And what I'm going to do on that one, right? What I'm going to do is I entered this trade. I'm going to go ahead and modify it now. I'm going to modify it to set a take profit like right on the middle of this candle right here, right? Why? Just because I know there's profit in there. It doesn't have to be a lot. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to come up to about this zone. It's 32,028. I'm going to go in and modify that, right? Hit modify 32,028. And I know just based on what's happening this morning, because again, it came to my little zone right here. It came down in this zone. Price is going to come down here and boom. And I have to sit around and watch this all day, right? It's gonna hit that profit. It's gonna hit that profit area. I'm really waiting for price to break below this EMA and price just to turn around this morning. We'll see what happens. It may not. It may just do this all day, like just wait till Wednesday. At 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, basically an hour and 15 minutes from now, there may be another big market move that you can look at, and it may move in a direction. So when I get off of this live, I'm going to go in and set some buy stops and sell stops in the direction that it may, because you never know what's going to happen in the market. It may just take off and run right through these zones, and I want to make sure if it does, I'm set up to catch the money through this. I don't have to sit in front of my charts all day long and watch and wait to do that. I've already got my one set up down here, right? So when it runs through that zone, if it comes way down below this, that'll be absolutely okay, but I should make all my money up by the time it hits that. And these are up here just in case zones, right? Just in case some crazy news comes out in the middle of the day and price goes and takes off in that direction. Yeah, that was my sound effect. Absolutely. Hey, Teresa, good morning. Good morning.
You share the screen.
Over here getting ready to call it a wrap. Thanks for swinging by. Again, if you're not enrolled in trading classes and you want to enroll in class, and I'm going to close with this. You're not going to learn how to trade in 2.5 weeks. Make a 18 to 24 month commitment. Make a commitment to 3 to 5 hours a week to learn. Make a commitment to open up in a demo account and practice. Get a notebook, take notes, do screenshots, do what I do in trading. You got a demo account, open it up, open a trade, put some notes on your trade to see what happens. That's how you're going to learn how to trade. Is you have to push the button and see what happens, right? And you do that with a demo account. You're going to learn that way. At least I do, right? That's how I learn. Is I open up a trade, go through some stuff. Sometimes we talk about martial arts. Sometimes it's subconscious. You see it and go, "There's a trade there," right? And it may not necessarily just all equate. So you open it up, you enter it, you see what's going to happen, and once you do that enough times, over and 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 over, you're going to get good at trading. But it takes practice. This isn't something that you can learn in a week by hanging out with a guy like me for a couple of weeks. You got to do this for months and months and months. And 24 months from now, you're like just trading like boop, bloop, 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 $500 a day, $1,000 a day, maybe $2,000 a day. My goal is to get to $5,000 a day. I've got a mentor. We watched him trade. He did like $12 million in a month. Of course, he's got a big, stupid, freaking fat account to be able to do that with, but it's still in relationship to ratio, right? Imagine doing $12,000 a month trading, and you're doing it and you're trading for an hour and a half a day. I think I'd be okay with that, right? I think most people would. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Have an absolutely awesome week. I'll probably be back here again live on all the channels next Tuesday. For those of you that are in my private trading group, I will see you guys live on Sunday night. I love you. I appreciate you. Jesus loves you. Absolutely nothing you can do about that. I'm on a mission to have no more empty refrigerators and help you make a lot of money. Have a good Tuesday, everybody. Bye-bye.